BBC did, nobody would even think a thing like that was done. They actually changed the words coming out of my mouth. Well, we'll sue them. We'll sue them for anywhere between $1 billion and $5 billion, probably sometime next week.
So you're ready to take...
Well, I think I have to do it. I mean, they've even admitted that they cheated. I mean, not that they couldn't have not done that. They cheated. They changed the words coming out of my mouth. The people of the UK are very angry about what happened, as you can imagine, because it shows the BBC is fake news. Of course, you and I knew that for a long time, but we didn't know it was this big.
Have you raised the issue with Sir Keir Starmer?
I have not, but I'll call him. I'm going to call him over the weekend. He actually put a call into me. He's very embarrassed by it.
Just wondering if you have a timeline.
Very few.
Timeline for when you might release more of those files. Can I
Which ones? Which
Democrats to Epstein.
We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here we're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women, and we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them.
I spoke to the president on Friday. He just said to me, "Is this how you treat your best ally?" There's been too much going for too long. You might have noticed, Harry, that last year 500,000 people stopped paying the license fee. The year before, 500,000 people stopped paying the license fee. If the BBC doesn't now get a grip, get somebody in from the outside, somebody who has got a history and a culture of changing organizations, of turning them around, then I think what you would see within the next couple of years are many, many millions just refusing, just not wanting to have the license fee.
Do you think you should resign?
Absolutely not. I think my job is to serve licence fee payers and deliver a BBC that is really focused on world-class, impartial, landmark output, and I look forward to us resolving this situation and looking forward to delivering that.
Morning everyone, good morning. Just want to say a couple of things. I'm here to lead and support the BBC. I'm very, very proud of our journalists in this building. They're doing work I think that's incredibly important. I want to thank every one of them. They're doing a wonderful job. Also, everyone across the BBC doing their thing for the UK, and personally I'm here to lead and support them. The BBC's going to be thriving and I support every one of the team. I'm very proud of them. Thank you very much, Johan.
How will you
Great
be
to see
responding
you.
to Mr. Trump's The apologizing is for the way the team edited President Trump's speech to his supporters on January the 6th. In hindsight, we should have acted earlier and taken a more formal position on it, which we've done more recently.
On the one hand, one take on the current controversy is to say, well, look, this is a very straightforward case of a right-wing figures on the board sort of defenestrating the leadership of the BBC. And I don't think that's completely untrue, but I think it's also the case that the people in the management side of the dispute, if you like, haven't really been able to set out any clear vision for what the BBC is, what it should do. There's lots of sort of nice words and statements about, you know, the BBC being trusted and so on, but there hasn't really been any public discussion around the BBC prior to this moment about how the BBC should interact with and respond to its audience. This has been a central problem with like the BBC, this sort of contradiction in its governance structure. On the one hand, it's claimed to be independent of any vested interests and of government, but in practical terms, you have people at the very top of the BBC who have the final say on editorial policy, and this is how sometimes things play out. And we have had other cases in the past of Director General's resignations being forced, like famously Alistair Milne in the 1980s, and also Greg Dyke, which was followed the fallout of the invasion of Iraq by the Blair government.
President Trump is trying to destroy our BBC, not because he cares about the truth, but because he doesn't want to get away with his lies. Trump has undermined press freedom in America. Now he's trying to do the same here, disgracefully egged on by the leader of reform. So will the Prime Minister tell President Trump to drop his demand for $1 billion settlement from the BBC? And will he guarantee that President Trump will not get a single penny from British licence fee payers?
Let me be clear, I believe in a strong and independent BBC. Some would rather the BBC didn't exist. Some of them are sitting up there. I'm not one of them. In an age of disinformation, the argument for impartial British news service is stronger than ever. And where mistakes are made, they do need to get their house in order, and the BBC must uphold the highest standards, be accountable and correct errors quickly. But I will always stand up for a strong, independent BBC.
Good afternoon, everybody. The president has made it very clear that this is a leftist propaganda machine that is unfortunately subsidized by British taxpayers, and he thinks that's extremely unfortunate for the great people of the United Kingdom and Great Britain. And I think that the president was deeply concerned by the editing, the purposeful and dishonest editing of his speech that was so clearly fake news, and he rightfully dubbed that term many years ago, and this is a classic example of that. We see it in the United States all the time. We see it now in the United Kingdom. As you know, the president's external legal counsel has filed a lawsuit against the BBC. We expect that to continue, and whether they apologize or not is up to them.